So I'm originally from the beautiful state of Bavaria in southern Germany. And while German food is pretty good, I really love Italian food. And I also enjoy a good American barbecue. So I said to my German American wife, can you combine Italian food and barbecue? And Linda said, sure can, hold my beer. So spend a couple minutes in Linda's home kitchen and she's gonna show you how she does it. So for the first part of the recipe, we need to make some pulled pork. The nice thing about pulled pork is that you don't necessarily need all the barbecue gadgets. Linda is just gonna make it in a slow cooker, something that most people have at home. First, we're gonna need to season the pork. You can use pork shoulder or Boston butt roast. You need about 3 pounds. We're gonna combine all the spices in a bowl. I put the exact measurements in the description below. In our mix, we're gonna put kosher salt, garlic powder, black pepper, smoked paprika, onion powder, oregano, and cumin. After all the spices are mixed together, Linda sprinkles them over the pork on both sides, and then you rub in the spices with your hands to make sure they stick to the pork. By the way, throughout the video, we're gonna ask you 5 food-related questions. It's a fun little challenge for you. You don't have to play along if you don't want to. If you do, please post your score in the comments. I'm just curious how everybody is doing. And here's question number 1. Next, we're going to place the pork in the slow cooker. She adds a 3/4 cup of water to it, and then you slow cook it for 7 to 8 hours on low or until it's tender enough to easily shred. So now it's time to take the pork out of the slow cooker. You have to be quite careful because, as you can see, it's almost falling apart on its own. It did turn out quite nicely. It's very tender and it has a nice brown crust on it. So before you start shredding the pork, you want to let it cool down for about 5 minutes. And as you shred it, you also want to discard any large fat pieces. Now we're gonna start the Italian half of the recipe. We're gonna make a pizza dough from scratch. First, we're gonna combine 1 cup of all-purpose flour, 1 cup of double zero pizza flour, and 1 teaspoon of salt in a bowl, and then we mix it all together. Next, we're gonna combine a 3/4 teaspoon of active dry yeast, 1 teaspoon of extra virgin olive oil, and a 3/4 cup of lukewarm water in a separate bowl, and mix it all up as well. And that's all the ingredients we need for the dough. Now we simply pour the water mix into the flour, and we start kneading the dough for about 2 to 3 minutes. And after that, we form the dough into a ball and we let it rest for about 15 minutes. So now the dough has rested for about 15 minutes. So we're gonna knead it again, this time on the wooden board. So we're gonna sprinkle some flour on the surface to make sure the dough doesn't stick to the surface. We're gonna knead the dough for about 2 to 3 minutes again. You can see how Linda really gets in there. She uses the palm of her hand to press down the dough and also roll it at the same time. And after that, she cuts the dough in 2 equal pieces because this recipe yields 2 pizzas. And then she rolls both halves in a round ball. You can tell she is a pastry chef. It's really easy for her to do. Matter of fact, she could do both halves with both hands at the same time. There's no way I could do that, and that's why she is in front of the camera and I'm behind the camera. Now it's time to let the dough rest again. this time for 3 hours. Sprinkle some flour on the wooden board again, and this time we cover the dough with a cloth. So now it's time to give the dough its final shape. Once again, Linda starts out by using her palm to stretch out the dough a little bit. And I'm pretty sure we all have seen how they throw a dough in the air and twirl it in a pizza shop. They do that to stretch out the dough to make sure you have a thin center. But that's beyond the scope what an average home cook could do, myself included. So Linda is showing us an easier way to do that. Just pick up the dough on one end, and the weight of the dough would help to stretch itself down. And you just keep turning the dough just like a steering wheel. And then you can finish it off by using a rolling pin to roll it out until you have about a 12-inch wide pizza dough. Now here's a little trick. You want to get the pizza dough ready for the oven before you put the toppings on. This way the pizza doesn't fall apart when you want to put it in the oven. And to do so, we put some parchment paper, sprinkle with flour onto a pizza peel, and put the pizza dough on top. And now we can get ready to top the pizza. First, we thinly slice half a red onion. And because we're making a true American pizza, we're not going to use tomato sauce. And instead, we top the pizza dough with some barbecue sauce and we spread it evenly with the back of a spoon. So next we top the pizza with our pulled pork. And because we have way more pulled pork than we would need for 2 pizzas, I see some pulled pork sandwiches in my near future. I definitely had worse leftovers before. So next we're gonna top off the pizza with some cheese, but instead of using Italian mozzarella, we're gonna use good old American sharp cheddar cheese. And because there's no such thing as too much cheese, we're also gonna add some shredded pepper jack cheese. Next, we're gonna add our thinly sliced red onions. And last but not least, we add some mild pepper rings, but that's optional, it's up to you. So now it's time to put the pizza in the oven. We preheated the oven to 500 degrees. We place the pizza on a pizza stone and we bake it for 8 to 10 minutes until golden brown. Okay, well, this looks pretty good. So let's find out how crisp it is and if it passes the Dave Portnoy no flop test. Well, let's cut up the pizza. Well, as you can hear, it's pretty crispy and there's definitely no flop. There you have it, your barbecue pulled pork pizza. I hope you enjoyed the video. And if you want to support a small mom and pop channel, please like, subscribe, or even share the recipe with your friends. We would really appreciate it.